Hello students, today's session we will solve an example from our textbook, Maharashtra State Board textbook, page number 20. Example is example 2.3 and our lesson is chapter 2 mathematical physics. So in previous sessions we have discussed how to add vectors. Okay, we have already discussed the triangle law of vector and parallelogram law of vector. So this question is again based on those laws. So let us have a look at the question. Okay, water is flowing in a stream with velocity 5 km per hour in an easterly direction relative to the shore. So we have to draw the diagram. Let us say that this direction is east direction. Okay, I am taking this direction as east direction, and water is flowing at the speed of 5 km per hour. So water is flowing at the speed of 5 km per hour. Okay, with respect to shore. Okay, speed of the boat relative to the still water is 20 km per hour. So suppose if the water is still in the river, then the boat will move with 20 km per hour, and if the boat enters the stream heading north, so the boat is moving towards north. Okay, so heading towards north. So let us say, since this is east, this will be north, and the speed is 20 km per hour. So this is given data from the question. If the boat enters the stream heading towards north, with what velocity the boat actually travel. So we have to find what will be the actual velocity of the boat in that situation. Now look at the situation. See, boat is moving towards north with 20 speed. Okay, if the water is still, it will move in a straight line like this. Okay, but since the water is flowing, the water will take the boat, instead of in this straight line path, it will take the boat in this way. Okay, so here if you look at the diagram, this is a triangle, so we will use triangle law of vector here. Okay, since this is first velocity v1 and this is second velocity, the resultant will be this r. Let us say this is r, which is resultant of this resultant velocity of this boat in actual terms. So the velocity with which the boat will actually travel is this velocity r. We can say it r, or we can say it vr, anything. Okay, so how we will solve this? So if you look at this diagram, it is right angle triangle, so we can directly use Pythagoras theorem also here, or we can use our law of parallelogram of vector. So we will follow the law of parallelogram, law of vector, or triangle law of vector. Okay, now since in this diagram this angle is 90 degree, let us say this is our p vector, this is our q vector, and this is our resultant r. So magnitude of resultant r is equal to, as per our triangle law or parallelogram law of vector, it is p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. Cos theta is here, theta is angle between this p and q vector, which is 90, and we know that cos 90 is 0, so this term goes out. What is left is r equal to square root of p square plus q square, and if we put the values, so it is 20 square plus 5 square, this comes out to be 400 plus 25, so it is square root of 425. So this will be the value of resultant velocity. And what will be the direction? So we have to find the direction also. So we can find the direction with respect to this north. Okay, so let us say this is alpha angle, so we can find alpha angle, and it will be direction with respect to north, or we can also find the direction with respect to west, east. Okay, so anything can be done. Okay, so first we will find square root of 425. So we will use our log table. Okay, and open the table of square root. Okay, so there are two tables, square root of 1 to 10. If you look at this, square root of 1 to 10, and then we have one more table, square root of 10 to 100. So which one to be used? First of all, we have to convert this 425 is neither in 1 to 10 range or nor in 10 to 100 range. So we want the number either in this range or in that range. So we can convert this as 4.25 into 10 raised to 2, or we can write it as 42.5 into 10 raised to 1. Okay, so anyways this 10 raised to 1 is odd power, so this conversion is not useful. This is even power, so we will use even power conversion. Fine, so we will write this number as 4.25 into 10 raised to 2. Okay, so now what will be the next step? We will find the square root of 4.25. So we have now this number lies between 1 to 10, since it is 4.25, so it lies between 1 to 10. So we will open the table of square root from 1 to 10. Okay, so this is the table for square root of 1 to 10. 4.25. So find out here 4.2 in this table. So I am finding out 4.2 here. So can you see this? It is 4.2. Okay, so 4.2, in the 4.2 column, what you have to find is 4.25. So take the fifth column of 4.2 row. So it is something 2.062. 2.062. Let me check it once again. 4.2 and fifth, it is 2.062, and square root of 10 raised to 2, which is 100. Square root of 100 is 10. So this comes out to be 20.62 kilometer per hour. If you check your answer with the textbook, our answer matches with the textbook answer. Fine. So we have found the magnitude. Now in question we have to find the velocity. Okay, so we have found the magnitude of velocity. Now we want to find the direction of velocity, which is alpha. So from this triangle we can say tan alpha is opposite upon hypotenuse equal to 5 by 20, which is 1 by 4. Okay, and 1 by 4 is 0.25. So alpha will be, what will be the value of alpha then? What will be value of alpha then? Tan inverse of 0.25. Now how to find tan inverse? Again use log table and go to natural tangent table. So in my log table book, it is at page number 14, natural tangents, 0.25. We have to find tan inverse of 0.25. So when we find tan inverse, we find the value inside the table. Okay, so find a number which is close to 0.25. So I am trying to find the number close to 0.25, and I got the number here. If you look at these values, these are 0 point values. Okay, these are 0 point values, and if you look at this number, it is 0.2493, and the next number is 0.2512. Okay, so we can take this number 0.2493 or 2512. So it is 14 degree and 0 minutes. Okay, now if we take 2493, okay, then this by adding 7, what we get is 24, this becomes 2500, which is our number 0.2500. We want this 0.2500. So there is a difference of 7. If you look at the same 14 row, is there any number which is close to 7? So there is 6 here. So we will take this 6, which is in front of 2 minutes. So what we get is 14 degree and then it is 2 minutes. So what we get answer is 14 degree 2 minutes. You can also write 14 degree 3 minutes. Okay, both answers will be correct. It should be 02 minutes. Okay, if you check your answer with the textbook, it is 14 degree and 04 minutes. Okay, both the answers are correct. You can approximate answer about this value. Okay, so this is the answer for our question. Now we'll start a new topic, which is resolution of vector. Resolution of vectors. So what is resolution of vector? Before going to the topic, let me ask you some question. If I have one vector in this way, let us say this is my A vector. I have another vector in this way, which is B vector. Then we know that the resultant of these two vector is C vector, which is A vector plus B vector. So we can always write, or we can always represent any vector as sum of one or more or two or more vectors. Okay, so let us consider one more example. If we have x, y, z axis, so we already know that if there are x, let us say this is x, this is y, and this is z axis. Okay, and now let us consider x, y, z axis. We know that unit vector in the direction of x axis is I cap, unit vector in the direction of y axis is j cap, and unit vector in the direction of z axis is k cap. So we can always represent any vector as a sum of vectors along x, y, and z axis. So this kind of process in which we break or we separate a given vector in different vectors along different directions. So here we have taken xyz axis as our direction. So this kind of breaking of vector, okay, so splitting of vector is called as resolution of vector, and this kind of resolution is called as rectangular resolution of vector. Okay, why it is called rectangular resolution? Since these axes are called rectangular coordinate axis, and when we split any vector along rectangular coordinate axis, we call that kind of resolution as a rectangular resolution of a vector, or simply resolution of vector. In our syllabus we will deal with this kind of resolution only till 11th class. Okay, so this can also be one more possible way. Okay, let us say I have this kind of direction, and let us say unit vector in this direction is alpha. I have one more direction like this, and unit vector in this direction is beta cap, and my vector is this vector v bar. So we can split this vector v bar as having components along this and this I cap and j cap, or alpha cap and beta cap. Let us say, let us draw them small since they are unit vector. So these are alpha cap and beta cap. These are random vectors. So we can have component of this vector along beta cap. Let us say this is v beta, and component of this vector v along alpha cap, which is v alpha. Then again, using parallelogram law, we can say that yes, this vector plus this vector is our v vector. So we can write v vector as v alpha cap plus v beta cap. And in general, if we have one more direction, let us say gamma, then we can write v gamma cap, and where alpha beta gamma are general directions. Okay, now we don't deal with such kind of examples in our physics syllabus of this year. So we deal with the x direction unit vector, y direction unit vector, and z direction unit vector. So we mostly deal with the rectangular components over here. Okay, so this is any vector. Okay, so this kind of process where we split a vector into other vectors which are along xyz axis, this kind of process is called, or along particular axis, this kind of resolution, this kind of splitting is called resolution of vector. Okay, so now let us take this rectangular resolution in more detail. Let us study this rectangular resolution in more detail, since we will use this throughout 2 years, 11th and 12th. Both years we will be using the rectangular components. Okay, so let us consider first x and y axis only. So this will be easy to understand. Let us say this is x axis, this is our y axis. Okay, and we have a vector like this. And let us say this point is O, this is C, this is R vector. Okay, so now we can split this. Now we know that according to parallelogram, if we have one vector in this way, one vector in this way, so by parallelogram law, this will be the diagonal of that parallelogram, and this will be the resultant of that two vectors. So if I draw perpendicular from this line on x-axis, I will get this kind of vector, which is Rx vector, and we can write this as Rx. Since it is in x direction, so we can write it as Rxi. What is Rx? This length is Rx. Okay, so we can write this part of the triangle as Rx I cap. Okay, so similarly, if we draw perpendicular from C on y axis, so this perpendicular will give you one more vector, which will be Ry vector, and we can write this Ry vector as Ry j cap. Since it is along y, so we can write it as Ry j cap. So from this figure, what we can say, this R vector, since we know the parallelogram law of vector, this vector plus this vector is R vector. So this will be Rx vector plus Ry vector. So this process is called resolution of vector. We have split this vector into the components along x and y. So this is a rectangular splitting or rectangular resolution of a vector. Okay, so in the same way, we can split a vector which is in space into x, y, and z axis. Okay, so it is difficult to understand all these three axes, so that's why I have explained you in plane x and y axis. Okay, so now look at this diagram once again. This length is rx, this length is r, since we know that length of the vector is equal to magnitude of the vector. Okay, so this is rx, this is r. If we take this angle as theta, then what can we write here from the figure? Sine theta. And let us say, since this is rx, okay, this length is rx, this length is ry, this is r. Okay, so sine theta will be opposite side upon hypotenuse. This opposite side is equal to ry, since it's a rectangle. So we can write sine theta equal to opposite side upon hypotenuse. Sine theta equal to opposite side upon hypotenuse, so ry upon r. So we can write ry equal to r sine theta. Okay, in the same way we can write this rx equal to r cos theta. If you write cos theta will be adjacent upon hypotenuse, so it will be rx upon r. So from that, if you rearrange the equation, it is rx equal to r cos theta. If we put all this value here, what we get? Okay, now one more thing, rx vector is rx I cap, so we can write this as rx I cap plus ry j cap, and we can also put these values here. So if I put these values here, so it is r cos theta I cap plus r sin theta j cap. Are you getting? So we can write this vector r bar in this way, where this part of the vector, which is r, we know the original vector r, we know its magnitude, and if we know this angle theta, then we can write this as x component as r cos theta I cap. This is x component since it is multiplied by I cap, which is a unit vector in direction of x. This is r sin theta j cap. This is y component, since there is j cap, it is a vector in the direction of y. Okay, so we can write any vector in this way. Okay, now what I have written here, this is rx equal to r cos theta and ry equal to r sin theta. If I divide these two equations, what I get is ry upon rx equal to r sin theta upon r cos theta. If we delete this r, cut this r, then sin theta upon cos theta is tan theta equal to ry upon rx. So from value of ry and rx, we can find this theta, or from theta we can find ry upon rx ratio. Okay, so this is one way. Now can we find, if we know these x and y components, can we find the magnitude of this vector? So yes, we can find. What we have to do, we have to square and add these two equations. If I square and add these two equations, what will happen? Let us see. Okay, so if I square and add this equation, rx square plus ry square, what will happen? Let us see. Since this is rx, r cos theta, its square will be r square cos square theta, ry will be r square sin square theta, and we know that this r square is common, so sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1, so this comes out to be rx square plus ry square equal to r square, or we can write this r as, what we can write this r as, square root of rx square plus ry square. Do you remember the previous example that we have solved? So there we have used this kind of equation, and it was basically a Pythagoras theorem. And if you put your logic here, this is a right angle triangle, so we can prove all these using Pythagoras theorem also. Okay, so it's a quite logical thing. Okay, so this is how we resolve any vector. Okay, so this is example for 2D vector, where I have taken vector in x and y plane. In the same way, we can resolve any vector which is in space. Let us say it is like this in this classroom. Okay, and this is our x-axis, this is y-axis, this is z-axis. So we can write this r vector in general as rx I cap plus ry j cap plus rz k cap. So this is the way how we write vector in terms of its rectangular component. Okay, so this is a important method to write vectors, and we will deal with this kind of equations in further numericals also, and this equation is very useful to solve vector numericals. Okay, so now let us solve one example from our textbook. and the example is find a unit vector in the direction of vector 3i cap plus 4j cap. So we have given question, find unit vector in direction of 3i cap plus 4j cap. This is our question here. Okay, so let us solve this question. It is very easy question. Let v vector, this is our v vector, which is 3i cap plus 4j cap. Now we have to find unit vector in direction of this vector. So basically we have to find unit vector of this. So how to find unit vector? So the formula for unit vector is vector divided by its magnitude. Okay, vector divided by its magnitude. We know the vector, it is given here 3i cap plus 4j cap, and from resolution of vector we know that magnitude of any vector is under root of rx square plus ry square plus rz square. These are xyz components. So we can write here, since there is no z component here, so we can write here 3 square under root of x component square plus y component square. These 3i cap is called x component, 4j cap is called y component. If there is z component, it would be something k cap. Okay, so let us solve this. This is 3i cap plus 4j cap, square root of 3 square is 9 plus 4 square is 16. This comes out to be, I think, 25, and its square root is 5. So this will be 3 by 5 I cap plus 4 by 5 j cap, and this is our unit vector v cap. Okay, so that's it. How to solve this example number 2.4. Let us solve example number 2.5. So it is given that you can refer the question in textbook. It is given that a vector is I cap plus 2j cap and b vector, another vector is given, b vector is 2i cap plus j cap. Okay, what are magnitudes of two vector? Are these vectors equal? So we have to find magnitudes and are they equal? So we can directly answer this question first. So two vectors are equal. If we say that two vectors are equal, then their x components and y components should be equal. So it means that this I cap, if it is let us say 1 I cap, then this component should also be 1 I cap. Since these I components are different, 1 I cap and 2 I cap, j components are different, then these vectors are not equal. Okay, so here, since we'll write the solution here, since components of a bar and b bar are different, they are not equal vectors. Okay, so these vectors are not equal vectors. Let us find their magnitude. So magnitude of a vector is under root of this component. Magnitude of vector a is under root of its component square. So it will be this component is 1, so 1 square. Since there is nothing, so it is 1, and 2 j cap, so it is 2 square. So this comes out to be 4 plus 1, 5, root 5. Okay, again magnitude of vector b, so 2 I square, so this will be square root of 2 square plus component of j is 1, so square root of 1 square. So this comes out to be again root 5. If you look at these values are equal. So these two vectors have same magnitude, but still they are not equal. Why they are not equal? Since their components are different, it means their directions are different. Okay, and since two vectors, even if they have same magnitude, if their directions are equal, different, then those vectors are different. Okay, so that's why these vectors are not equal. This is the reason behind the concept. Okay, so this is our example number 2.5. Okay, so in next session, okay, so far what we have done is we have studied the addition of vectors. what are vectors. We have studied difference between scalars and vectors. Then let us say the types of addition. If the vectors are parallel, anti-parallel, then we can simply add or subtract them. If they are not parallel, not anti-parallel, but they are at some angle, then we use triangle law, parallelogram law, and polygon law of vector. Then we have done so many examples. We have already studied the resolution of vector, how to split a given vector into its component. And now in the next lecture, what we will study is multiplication, or let us say the correct word is product of vectors. There are two type of product. One is scalar product, other is vector product. Okay, and you can go through the next video where we will learn the multiplication of vectors. If you like my video, if you like the way I teach, then you can share my video with your friends. Okay, and if you have any kind of doubt related to what I have taught in this video, then you can post your doubts in the comment section. Okay, so let's meet in the next video.